What is up, you guys? Had to give my son another haircut. It grew back really quick and I cut it right before he started school, but just a week later, 2 weeks later, and it's just growing in quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and start creating that first guideline. Just during this part, I actually held the phone in my hand. Just wanted to get a more up close and personal view so you guys can see what's going on when I do this first guideline. And I'm not too worried about if it's straight all the way around. Like if I go up higher or a little lower on one section, it's perfectly fine. I can easily fix that when I go back around. As always, I do want to clean up all that hair underneath, so with the Andy Slimline Pros, I'm going to go ahead and just clean up this part. And with this next part, I'm going to switch to my clippers just because it's a lot wider, the blade, and it just covers more surface area, so I can trim that down a lot faster. With my Braun foil shaver, I'm going all the way around his head and I'm going to just skin it down till it's nice and smooth. When using any foil shaver, you don't want to apply a lot of pressure. Just keep your hand loose and allow it to move freely around the head, and the blades will definitely do all the work. Closing the lever all the way closed, I'm going to create my next guideline. And remember that the thicker you make the lines, the guidelines, the higher you're going to push the hair up. With my trusty Wahl 5-star clippers that I've had now for 6 years, lever all the way closed, I'm just gonna clean up all that hair underneath, and whatever wasn't able to be cleaned up with the Wahl clippers, I'm just using the Andy Slimline Pros, the corner of that blade, and trimming it all the way down. With that 1.5 guard, I'm creating the next guideline. I'm not going up too high, I'm just doing a flicking out motion right here, as you can see. This is the 1 guard open, and now I'm going to go ahead and switch to the 1 guard closed to fade out that 1.5. And right after that, I'm going to start with the 1/2 guard, lever all the way closed, as my son picks his nose. That boy kept digging in his nose for a while, but I honestly think it's because he had a lot of hair that kept going around his face and he was breathing it in. So I guess we'll use that as an excuse. So getting right back into the cut, with that 1/2 guard, I was blending it out with no guard and with the lever all the way closed. Then I used the Andy Slimline Pros. Now this is the number 3 guard, and I'm just blending into that darkest area. To blend out that number 3, which didn't really take off too much, I switched to the number 2 guard, which was a gray one. And here we are back at the number 1.5. And from here, you guys, we're just down fading. I'm opening and closing the levers, and we'll just keep going down with the guards from here. After this video is done with, I am going to show you guys, like at the end of the clips, when I show you the after, what my son's hair looks like about 2 to 3 days later. It grows back really fast, so this is why you guys will understand why I always do skin fades with him, or whatever type of haircut I'm doing, I always make sure that I'm doing skin, just because his hair grows back super fast. To kind of trim down some of this extra bulk on the side, I'm grabbing my clippers with the lever just a little bit closed, and I'm just scooping up into the hair, pulling out towards me and fading out as much as I can. Whatever I don't fade out, I'm just going to grab my clipper guards and clean that area up a little bit more. Now we're on the other side, and I'm going to repeat the same exact process that I did with the side before, starting with no guard on and the lever all the way closed, creating that first guideline, and then erasing that guideline with the Andy Slimline Pros. When I tried using the 1.5 guard on this side of his head, it actually didn't cut off anything, so I just went straight to the 1 guard with the lever all the way closed, and you guys already know I'm going to start down fading from here. With my number 3 guard and the lever all the way closed, I'm going to go around his head in a flicking out motion. This is going to cut down all the extra bulk that you see right there near his crown area. As you guys can see, with each step that we've done with opening and closing the lever, the hair has started to blend out pretty good. I'm really just focusing on using the corner of the blade. I know it kind of doesn't look like it because I sped the video up pretty quick, but I'm just focusing on the very bottom line that you see, which is the darkest towards the bottom. My son did ask me to chop it off with a guard. I chose the number 6 guard. He didn't want like a scissor trim. He actually wanted quite a bit chopped off because it's still been hot and it was his decision. I'm like, alright boy, I'll cut it down and start blending this other side in with the clipper over comb. Throughout this entire haircut of me cutting his hair, he continued to ask me what guard I was using, what the next step was I was going to be doing, and I'm loving this boy's curiosity. I told him if he ever wants to cut hair, I'll definitely teach him, and maybe in the future I'll add a video of him cutting my hair. If this boy learned to cut hair by like age 8, he's currently 6, that would be crazy, you guys. That would be dope. He would start cutting my hair. I would stop cutting my hair as much as I do, and in the process, we'll both be learning. That's dope. Attached is the half guard. I'm just going around his head. I could still see a line, so I'm just putting a little bit of extra work into the hair just so I can get it as crispy and clean as possible. The reason I'm not using a guard and I'm using the clipper over comb technique, this just allows me to a little more freedom. I'm able to kind of choose the area of the hair that I want to trim down, and with that number 1 guard attached, it really helped me to keep the blend in control. With my trusty Andy Slimline Pros, I'm starting from the middle of his head and I'm working my way out, and I'm going to continue that same step on the opposite end. I'll keep brushing his hair down and lining it up, but for the meantime I went right back into his head and wanted to touch it up just a little more. We are approaching the end of the cut. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I will go ahead and post the before video before I show the results. I do like to do this because I like for you guys to see what we were working with beforehand. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up, comment in the comment section, and I'll see y'all in the next video. So this is 2 to 3 days later. This is what I was telling you guys about, how his hair just grows back really quick, and why I like to do the skin. He was just being silly and doing some little giggles. But from the after video, you guys could see that there was kind of a little line towards the back of his head, but I wasn't too worried because I knew that it would grow back pretty quick. But that's all from me, you guys. I'm done talking. I could probably go forever. So I'm going to let you guys continue your day. I'm going to continue mine. And like I said previously, I'll see you on the next video. Peace.